Yes, I can explain the Dynarri character from Star Control 2 in a letter while emphasizing the requested points. My dearest, I wanted to share with you a piece of history from the video game Star Control 2, a deeply dark chapter that explains the motivations of the main antagonist, the Ur-Quan. It centers around the species called the Dynarri. The Dynarri are the source of all of Ur-Quan's aggression. They are ancient, terrifyingly intelligent, and extraordinarily evil race of large, toad-like beings. They are distinguished by their capacity for powerful psychic mind control. A single Dynarri could enslave an entire planet. In the game, you mainly encounter them as the talking pets, small, frog-like creatures the Ur-Quan use to communicate. This reduced state is key because it is an act of ultimate revenge. The problem specific to the Ur-Quan was simple. They were one of the first races of the old sentient Millennium to be discovered and subsequently psychically subjugated by the Dynarri. For thousands of years, the Ur-Quan were slaves, forced to fight and destroy other sentient races in the Dynarri's twisted campaign of genocide. The Ur-Quan's original skin color was a uniform brown, but the Dynarri genetically altered them into two subspecies. The green Ur-Quan, Khazur-Za, for the administrative and research, and the black Ur-Quan, Kora-A, for warfare and labor. The treatment under the Dynarri was a complete loss of self. They were compelled to commit unspeakable atrocities against the very sentient milieu they once belonged to. Their very minds were not their own, a constant psychic leash, a fate the Ur-Quan came to view as worse than any death. Their found solution came from a green Ur-Quan researcher who discovered a critical weakness. The Dynarri's psychic connection to a slave could be severed if the slave experienced overwhelming, self-inflicted pain. The cost involved was horrifying. Upon learning the truth, the Ur-Quan across all their ships and installations began inflicting extreme agony upon themselves to break the psychic link. This ordeal, which involved generational self-mutilation and torture, freed them from the mind control. But it also permanently damaged the Ur-Quan's psyche, replacing their cooperative culture with a profound, almost insane xenophobia and an absolute, non-negotiable vow to never be enslaved again. After their revolt, the Ur-Quan completely reversed the initial Dynarri-imposed genetic changes, not by removing the alterations, but by inflicting a new one. The resulting genetic changes made to the Dynarri were the ultimate humiliation. They were reduced to subsentient talking pets, barely sapient and incapable of independent thought or communication, effectively brain-stapled. This ensured that they could never again pose a threat. The Dynarri, a once all-powerful galaxy-spanning psychic race, became nothing more than talking mouthpieces for their former slaves. They are a profound indication for the artificiality. Their current pathetic form is the result of direct, malicious genetic engineering by their vengeful captors. The trauma gave rise to the philosophy of the Ur-Quan, the path of now and forever. This solution dictates that all other sentient species represent a potential threat, a future Dynarri waiting to happen. To prevent this, every race must be subdued, either locked away under a planetary slave shield, fallow slaves, or forced to serve in the Ur-Quan Armada, battle thralls. This doctrine became the new foundation of their entire civilization. The fallout dealing with it was a massive schism in the Ur-Quan species itself, the second doctrinal conflict. While both subspecies agree on the path of now and forever's goal of preventing re-enslavement, they differ violently on the method. The green Ur-Quan, Khazur-Za, believe in the containment of all lesser races, enslavement or shield them, but keep them alive, because a free sentient race is a risk to itself and the Ur-Quan. The black Ur-Quan, Korra believe that only total annihilation can guarantee Ur-Quan safety. The Eternal Doctrine states that every non-Ur-Quan sentient life form must be cleansed from the galaxy, seeing it as the only true solution. This ideological civil war is the core conflict you face in the game. In short, the entire galactic war you are fighting is nothing more than a terrifying, xenophobic, and genocidal aftermath of one species' successful but deeply traumatic slave revolt against an ancient, psychic master, the Dynarri.